Hey everybody, look on the screen. Sorry, I gotta ask you, but look like these Dusties, they really try to get at you. Let's look at part 1, then please stick around for part 2, which will be a separate video. Part 2 or part B will be the commentary. Why is Dusty Dan on the screen? Check it out.
Mike Chitwood says his deputies had no choice but to shoot a mentally ill man who he says charged at his deputies while armed with 2 knives.
The suspect was shot twice. He is expected to survive. Deputies were called to the home the suspect shares with his elderly parents in Samsula yesterday. West 2's Claire Metz joins us live now. So, Claire, deputies were familiar with this suspect?
Yeah, very much so. Before Sunday, they had responded to the home at least 5 times, describing the suspect as delusional, paranoid, threatening to harm imaginary people that he thought had wronged him. Well, on Sunday, his parents called.
You got somebody who's mentally ill, who's off the rails, who is not listening to anybody or anything.
Put the knife down.
You and mom, man. Just shut the door.
Nobody is threatening your mother.
A tense situation unfolded on body camera video as 43-year-old Michael Komar, armed with 2 knives, ranting about someone sex trafficking his elderly mother, refused all commands to drop the weapons. Komar's parents were inside the house, and though deputies say he hadn't threatened them, law enforcement had to treat it as a hostage situation.
You hope and pray that when you deploy the less lethal force, that you're able to get him down where you can subdue him and then do what you got to do.
Sheriff Chitwood says his deputies, with supervisors on hand and all the proper equipment, followed policy and procedure, trying to bring the suspect down without hurting him.
If you just put the knife down, nobody wants to hurt you. Put the knife down. Nobody wants to hurt you.
The deputies used tasers, less lethal beanbag rounds, but ultimately, body cam video shows the suspect barreling out the door toward deputies, knives still in his hands.
If that other deputy doesn't have lethal force out, probably we're talking about somebody getting stabbed here. The deputy absolutely getting stabbed.
Komar, diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, but off his meds, served 4 years in prison for stabbing someone for a perceived wrong. He was released in 2022. Deputies have since responded to his home multiple times, then Sunday, when Komar's father called 911.
She's got a couple of eyes walking back and forth, and he's kind of scaring me and my wife.
Sheriff Chitwood says Komar's parents had previously resisted committing their son, and says Komar did not meet their own Baker Act criteria because his threats were only against imaginary people. Suspect Komar remains hospitalized but is in custody, facing 4 counts of aggravated assault on deputies. And because he was on probation when all of this occurred, that probation has been revoked, so he will be back behind bars once he recovers. Now, FDLE, as is standard, is investigating this officer-involved shooting. We're live in Volusia County.
Okay, everybody, you saw part 1, part A. Please stick around for part B, the commentary.